Beyonce couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Cathy White would have been in her second trimester. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Cathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right to.
It turns out that Blue Ivy was the kid Jay's dead pregnant mistress, Cathy White, was carrying at the time of her death. Folks have been speculating about this for a while, especially after Jaguar Wright came out to blame Beyonce for Cathy's death. It turns out not only did Beyonce allegedly make Jay take Cathy out, but she allegedly took out the baby Cathy was carrying out of her right before Cathy died, and that baby was Blue Ivy. Apparently, Bey faked her pregnancy while Cathy was carrying Blue, and as soon as they took Cathy out and got Blue, Bey also flooded the blogs with news of her finally giving birth. Katt Williams was the last person folks were expecting to get mixed up in this, but he started talking too, and he is confirming everything that Jaguar said. Folks had actually forgotten all about this mess till last year when Beyonce released her album Cowboy Carter. The album featured a song titled Daughter, which people believe is Beyonce's confession to allegedly taking Cathy's life. In the song, Beyonce seemingly confessed to when she unalived her lover's mistress, and he helped her cover the murder. People also believe the song's title is a reference to Blue Ivy, who people believe is the daughter Cathy was carrying at the time of her tragic death. The lyrics read, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors. Your bloodstains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do. They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, I'm just like my father. I am colder than Titanic water." Some people said it was just a song, but as I said, others are convinced that the lyrics were too detailed to just be a song. At the time of Cathy's death, it was reported that she died of a brain aneurysm. But as time went on, folks started to look into more, and some things just weren't adding up. Let's rewind back to August 28, 2011, when Beyonce revealed her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs, because the timeline of her giving birth and Cathy's death is definitely suspicious to a lot of people. Bey supposedly gave birth to Blue on January 12, 2012, and that was about the same time Cathy was also reportedly pregnant. And just days before Beyonce's due date, Cathy was found dead in her home. Fast forward to the very start of the new year, and suddenly Beyonce announces the birth of Blue? People are convinced to this day that Beyonce was never really pregnant and that she and Jay had Blue through surrogacy, with the surrogate being Cathy. You see, when it comes to surrogacy, specifically gestational surrogacy, the surrogate carries the embryo but is not genetically related to the child. The embryo is created using the eggs and sperm from the intended parents. In this scenario, the child has genes from both the intended mother and the intended father, but none from the surrogate. People believe that this is why Blue looks like Bey and Jay, even though Bey reportedly never carried Blue. Now, in case you're wondering why people are convinced that Bey was never actually pregnant, well, there is this video of her baby bump caving in as she was sitting.
What must have been a fake baby bump visually collapsed as she sat down. I admit, that did look weird, but maybe it was a weird camera angle, or maybe she wears extra padding to keep her due date a secret. And yes, maybe Beyonce isn't actually pregnant.
How many pregnant women do you know whose bellies cave in like that when they sit? Word on the street is Beyonce allegedly took out Cathy after she had the baby because she knew Cathy would go right back to sleeping with Jay, and she didn't want that to happen. Not only that, but Cathy being dead would also mean any chance of her later coming to expose Bey is out of the equation. And can we talk about how Bey and Jay reportedly paid the hospital over $1.3 million to shut down the venture floor Bey was supposedly giving birth to Blue on? Oh, is it ever that serious? Unless, of course, there's something shady going on that the public wasn't supposed to find out. Allegedly, of course. Folks also brought up this very evil, twisted poem from Beyonce's song, Anger, in which she talks about how she would do anything, including wearing the skin and hair of her husband's deceased lover, as long as it's going to be enough to keep him tied to her forever. Listen to this, y'all.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine, her hair over mine. Her hands as gloves. Her teeth as confetti. Her scalp a cap. Her sternum my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph. All three of us. Immortalized. You and your perfect girl.
In a since-deleted article, Hollywood Street King revealed he spoke to one of the officers who were part of investigating Cathy's death, and they told him that her death was a homicide and not as a result of a brain aneurysm. The article read, "Yesterday, I got the news that Cathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away, so I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Cathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported widely around the internet today. According to an NYPD detective who told me, Cathy's cause of death is uncertain, and later today, we will have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious." He added, "A 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. Ambulance came and took Cathy because she was sick. They took her to the Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm killed her. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death. But someone might have given Cathy a bad so they'll do a toxicology and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report." 2 weeks prior to her death, Cathy was contacted by a major tabloid that was investigating the Jay Z connection. She gave them little information to go on, but according to one of our sources, following her conversation with the tabloid, she called Jay and told him that she was going to go public with their affair for a price. This all happened in the last 2 weeks. Then, little more than 48 hours after the announcement that Beyonce was pregnant with Jay's baby, this young lady suddenly dies under suspicious circumstances.
Was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand, see? I mean, I'm just speculating.
Oh, but she wasn't done. Jaguar later appeared in another interview, and this time she went into more details about what happened, including how Beyonce allegedly faked her pregnancy and stealing Cathy's unborn baby out of her womb before taking her out. Apparently, Blue Ivy is actually the baby Cathy was carrying before Jay took her out.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Cathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no... Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere. Which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties. To walk mother out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo.
Oof.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have done a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Cathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
And then there is the popular journalist Liz Crokin, who also accused Jay of being behind Cathy's death. Liz was actually gearing up to have an exclusive interview with Cathy about her affair with Jay just days before Cathy passed away. When Kanye West says Jay Z has murders, I believe he is talking about the people who killed Cathy White. I was the reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she died was deleted. I know everything. I know what you did. Go F yourself. Your time is coming. Maybe you and Diddy can share a prison cell together. Justice is coming, she added. Only a matter of time before spirit cooking Jay Z is exposed like Diddy. There's a reason Kanye said Jay's got I would know. He's evil to the core. I pray there will be justice for Cathy White one day. The false idols will continue to fall, mark my words. Now, when it comes to Katt, word on the street is the reason he still hasn't come out to publicly slam Jay and Bey with these allegations is because he doesn't want them to threaten him with any lawsuits like how they tried to do to Jaguar when she appeared on Piers Morgan's show. But baby, he allegedly still believes that Blue isn't Bey's biological child, and it's safe to say a lot of people agree with him because they also supported his claims by going off on Bey for allegedly stealing Blue from Cathy. One person said, if Blue was born January 7th, that means when Beyonce announced being pregnant, she was allegedly 4 months pregnant, which means her stomach shouldn't have been that big on the VMAs. Another person said, I remember reading all about this back in 2017 with that deflated baby bump. Didn't want to believe it had to erase from my algo, and here we are again. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Katt exposing Bey and Jay for allegedly being behind Cathy's death? And do y'all really believe Blue is a surrogate baby? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.